Hey, how's it going, guys? It's me, Silp, once again, bringing you another video. So, yesterday was the big day because we had the Poketube wrestling match. And it was originally going to be 1v1 Generation 8 with best out of 3 rules. But because there was only me and Arashi YT battling, we decided to have Generation 8 random battles best out of 3. And now I'm gonna give you some sort of after commentary and show cap of our battles. So here is battle number 1. We have the Telmice versus Aerodactyl lead, which is a pretty good matchup for me. And he will swap into Suicune. So this battle was pretty wild because it had so much legendaries. You can see soon. So I'm gonna swap into Dialga, another legendary, and he goes for Calm Mind, but that is okay because I have a counter against that. He goes for Ice Beam, doesn't do a lot, and I will just go for Dragon Tail, which is the counter. And now I will go for Regis, which was pretty scary for my team, so I went for Toxic to stall him out as he goes for Ice Beam. And I'm just gonna say at this point that I was so happy for these battles. I'm not gonna spoil how it went, but I was pretty happy how I did and how Arashi did. These were pretty close battles, and the people who were in the chat were pretty nice too. It was nice to get to know them better because I haven't been in the Discord server for long. My friends were watching that and they were supporting me, and this was just a fun event overall, and I can't wait for the next month Poketube Wrestling Federation. So I took the right guys out, and now here comes Suicune. My Aerodactyl was already paralyzed, so I decided to sack it off. So I went for Cobalion now, another legendary, and I went for Volt Switch because I thought that close combat wouldn't take it out, and I just decided to sack Dialga out, but it leaves Earth Slash. But it should. Yeah, he was up to Slowpoke when I tried to go for Dragon Tail, and Slowpoke was another pretty scary Pokemon. So I went for Flash Cannon if he had Belly Drum, and he's just gonna go for Play Rough. So my next counter against that was Ho-Oh, which is another legendary. The only thing he has against me is Facade, obviously, because it has like Belly Drum, Play Rough, and Drain Punch. I have played a lot Generation 8 random, so I know the usual sets there are, which made this pretty good for me because my 1v1 team was pretty bad because I have like never played 1v1s, so yeah. And here I made a very bad misplay swapping to Lunatone because for some reason I remember that rock type is not very effective against rock types. And right here the Cobalion was a very huge threat for the rest of my team, so I Dynamaxed my Cobalion and went for Max Steel Spike to get my defense up, as he went for Telma, which is not very good against my team, so I just went for 3 Max Steel Spikes and got my defense for a very huge amount. And here comes Virizion, so we have all 3 Sword of Justice. As you can see, there are like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7 legendaries has been out already, which is pretty wild if you ask me, but just as for the legendary event, as someone said in the chat. So right here I decided to go for Ho-Oh to style the Dynamax, and I knew that Stone Edge would be coming, so I swapped back to Cobalion styling out, but I made a misplay because obviously I don't have my defense rises again, so I died pretty easily to blast to close combat. And at this point I was already, yeah, GG, I lost this, but I still went for Ho-Oh and the Stone Edge misses, so I went for Brave Bird, and I took the Virizion out, which is pretty great. But he still had the big Terrakion, and I was really hoping that the Stone Miss would miss, but it didn't. And my last Pokemon was Kyurem, another legendary from Generation 5, and close combat takes me out. So, at this point it was 1 for Arashi, 0 for me, and the next battle would be pretty crucial, and the next battle was wild. There was so much predicting and overplaying, and so much tactics were going on, and I'm gonna show it to you right now. Alright, and right here we have our next battle. I'm gonna just switch sides from my point of view, and let's get into it. So our lead is Reuniclus versus Bellosom. I decided to go for Quiver Dance because I knew I could outstyle the Psychic. So I went for Giga Drain now to get some health back. As you go for some Psychic, it doesn't do a lot. So it was looking pretty promising. And let me tell you, this Bellosom was beast in this battle. So I took the Reuniclus out. I still have a lot of HP and I was set up pretty well. He goes for Cinderace. And I thought that I could leave a hit, so I went for Strength Sap as he went for U-turn, and I got some health back for the Aromatisse. And now this is pretty good RNGesus moment. I went for Giga Drain, I got a crit, and he goes for Toxic, which misses, which is pretty great because this Bellosom was a great sweeper. It was well set up already. So he goes for a Wish. I predicted a Protect coming, so I went another Quiver Dance, which was pretty wild. The crowd was like yelling and they were like hyping that, oh my god, what prediction, and Toxic misses once again. So this Bellosom versus Aromatisse matchup was so wild as it can be. So I went for Giga Drain, he goes for Wish, and at this point I predicted that he would bait me, that I would think he goes for Protect, so I went for Giga Drain, took it out. Terminator comes, I would just went for Giga Drain, and he didn't get the Belly Drum off because of that, and then he had to go for Dynamax. I got a pretty low HP, I got some chip damage, and he takes me out with Max Aerostop, but I took with Bellosom almost 3 Pokemons out, which was wild. Then I went for Scolipede, Max Guard to get my speed boost up, but I forgot one thing, that Darmanitan was faster, so he gives me so much damage, but I take the Darmanitan out with Max Quake. But then this is where the downhill goes. He goes for Mamoswine. Arashi is known for liking ice type, so of course this Mamoswine was a huge thing for him. So at this point I went for a little misplay. I went for Lapras for some reason while the sun was up, and I went for Chandorus at this point for the discharge, and I just went for a knockoff to get rid of the leftovers against the Stunfisk, as he goes for Stealth Rock, which doesn't really do much against my team, so that was fine, really. So I go for a knockoff, I take the Stunfisk out, as he goes for Mamoswine. So I thought that, yeah, I'm gonna go for Lapras. He goes for Superpower, which was such a great play from Arashi and just a bad misplay from me. So at this point I thought that it does too much damage, it must be Choice Banded. He goes for Cinderace, I go for Thunder Wave, predicting instead of swap. And then I swap back to Chandros because it doesn't have much purpose here. He goes for Power, and now I have Slowking, so you will think at this point that this Slowking will do a lot against this team because, oh yeah, Scald definitely takes the Cinderace and Mamoswine out, but let me tell you, this Slowking sucked because it was Future Sight, Slack Off, Toxic and Teleport, so I only had Future Sight and oh my god, the audience was like laughing their asses off when they realized what set I have. At this point they were like, alright, Future Sight, why did you do that? And they was like laughing that it was the only thing that it had. So Arashi won both battles in the end, but it was fun. And Arashi, if you are watching this, I will win in the next month. But well, if it's 1v1 I'm gonna lose totally, but I will have to use 20 teams if I wanna win you. So, Arashi, you better watch out because I will get my rematch and I will beat you in that rematch. Peace out, like and subscribe for this amazing battle, and I will see you in the next video. Peace out.